Okay, I'm going to do a lesson on solving quadratics where a equals 1 and using the zero product property to solve. Notice I have m squared minus m equals 20. Y squared minus 21 equals 4y. N squared equals negative 17n minus 60. I'm going to have a trinomial for all three of these problems. You want that trinomial to look like this: ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So you can factor and then use the zero product property. So that means I want to make sure every one of these are equal to 0. Okay. Always keep a positive quadratic term or a positive squared term. Never move your quadratic. Keep it positive. So I'm going to subtract 20. That keeps that positive. I'm going to subtract 4y. That will keep this positive. And I'm going to add 17n and add 60 to keep that positive. So if I subtract 20 from the right, I'm going to subtract 20 from the left. So that makes it equal to 0, makes it look like this. Then I'm going to subtract 4y from both sides. I want to put my variables in descending order, so I'm going to put that 4y or minus 4y in the middle. Then I'm going to add 17n and add 60 on the other side as well. Now, if you watched my other video about factoring trinomials where a is 1, hopefully these look familiar. I'll show you, it's on the same page, because I'm going to use those. I'm not going to go through the whole factoring process. Here's my first one, m squared minus m minus 20. So there's the problem at the bottom, so I'm going to use that in just a moment. My second one is number 2, so I'm going to use this factored form down here at the bottom. And then my third one, this here, is number 4, so I'm going to use that. If you need to go back and watch that video, the title there is Factoring Trinomials When A Equals 1 or Quadratics. So you may want to go back and watch that if you have not watched that already. Okay, so I am just going to, I hate to say the word cheat, but I'm going to use my tools effectively and efficiently and go ahead and put what I got on that previous video for factoring this. I got m plus 4 times m minus 5. Now, on the other video, you stop there, but now I have an equation I need to solve. But I have a product equal to 0. Well, the zero product property that I mentioned above, the zero product property says if a times b equals 0. So if you have that, look, this would represent a, m plus 4. B. This would represent b, m minus 5. If a times b equals 0, then you know a equals 0 or b equals 0. This is called using the zero product property. What I do is I take each factor. Here's one factor, and here's one factor. And I set them equal to 0. m plus 4 equals 0, m minus 5 equals 0. And then I solve each of these individually, and both of those are my answer. My degree, my largest exponent, tells me how many answers I'm going to have. I'm going to have 2 answers. So I'm going to subtract 4. M will equal negative 4. I'm going to add 5. M will equal 5. So my 2 answers, I'll put them in my solution set, are negative 4 and 5. Okay. For the second one, the factored form that I got from that previous video, y plus 3, y minus 7 equal to 0. I have 2 factors multiplied to equal to 0, so I know to use the zero product property where I set each factor equal to 0 and solve. So y plus 3 equals 0, y minus 7 equals 0, subtract 3, y equals negative 3, add 7, y equals 7. So my 2 solutions that would satisfy this equation here are negative 3 and positive 7. Okay, and number 3, my factored form that I got on the previous video is n plus 5, n plus 12. And again, I have 2 factors being multiplied equal to 0. So to find those 2 solutions, you set each factor equal to 0 and solve. So n will equal negative 5, or n will equal negative 12. My 2 solutions, we usually put them in order from smallest to largest, are negative 12. Oops, you can't see that, sorry. Negative 12 and negative 5. Those are my solutions. Hope that helps you to solve quadratics where a equals 1 and using the zero product property.